Hi everyone, this is Aaron. In this video, I'll talk about how you can write a program to calculate the angle between two vectors. And this is how the end result will look like. So if I just enter two vectors in row matrix form, it will give me the angle in radians as well as the angle in degrees. What's more, I have included an additional line for working out, but that is completely optional. With that in mind, let's get into the actual programming. So I'll call this function angle v to indicate that it's the angle between two vectors. And things are going to be slightly more complicated here. Let's use a program. And I'll turn the access to public. Right. So the first thing is always the input. And since we're calculating the angle between two vectors, then of course the input are going to be the two vectors, which I'll denote with A and B. Now let's move on to the process. So just to get started, let's write down the formula that is related to the angle between two vectors. And that's just cos theta equals the dot product of the two vectors over the product of the magnitude of the two vectors. Right, and this theta is the angle between two vectors. So by writing this down, it's now pretty clear what we need to do, right? We just need to cos inverse both sides, and then we can get the theta. So that's what I'm gonna do. Right, and this is the angle between two vectors in radians. So now what we need to do is to make that the output. In the last video, I said that if you want to output something in a function, you would type return, but it doesn't really work the same way in programs. Because in programs, you don't necessarily need to return anything. So instead, you just want to display it, and you can do that by typing the display keyword. So now let's see what this will give us. And for the sake of comparison, I'll just use the same input. Right, and we can see that what we get agrees with what we have before. So that's a good first step. And now to upgrade this program, we can give two answers, one in radians and one in degrees, right? Because it is really common for a question in the exam to ask for the angle in degrees instead of radians, and that's what we'll do. So remember, to convert an angle in radian to degrees, we would multiply it by 180 over pi. So if we do that, then this thing is going to be in degrees. However, there's just one more problem. Currently, this thing will be in exact form, which can look very ugly. Plus, usually we don't really need exact form for degrees anyway, so we'd like to display it as a decimal. And the way to do that is to use approx. And now, the calculator will approximate the answer instead of calculating the exact value. Alright, so now let's see how this has changed our program. Right, and this is the answer in degrees, which also agrees with our previous answers. So that is very good. And of course, if you want to clarify what these two numbers are about, you can easily do that by doing something like angle equals, oh no, maybe actually a more informative way is to say radian and degrees. But of course, that is completely optional. Right, and let's see what this gives us. Pretty nice. Also, one more additional feature that I added is that I've decided to display this line instead, because I thought this is a really good intermediate line that I can write on my exam paper to earn the working out point. So I thought I might just as well keep it. But if you don't want to keep it, then you can just delete it, and there's no problem with that, right? So now we have got our own program that can calculate the angle between two vectors. And that's also the end for today's video. If you have any questions about the program, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section and I'll get back to you. Also, if you like this kind of video and want to see more, remember to hit the subscribe button so that you can see my future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.